Rob, you know, and everybody else knows, I don't have a lot of respect for the Hollywood Foreign Press or their Golden Globes Awards. I think it's the most useless award show out there, but I will give them this.
It's free booze, though.
It is free. I'll give them two things, actually. Number one, they put on a great show. The Golden Globes show is a very entertaining show to watch.
Very much so.
And I'll give them that, absolutely. I enjoy watching, even though I think their awards are useless. But the second thing they usually get right is their annual version of their Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the Cecil B. DeMille Award. And they've announced who their recipient of the Cecil B. DeMille Award is this year, and that is the great actor, Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is going to be honored with their Lifetime Achievement Award this year. And it's one of those things where you hear the name and you're like, well, duh, of course. I mean, this is, as much crap as I give the Golden Globes and the Hollywood Foreign Press, they do usually do a really good job with their Lifetime. And this is a great selection. I love this pick. Jeff Bridges is a treasure in this industry, and I'm really glad to see him get this.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I was afforded the opportunity. I did this feature-length documentary on the making of Tron, and my big get was I needed to talk to Jeff Bridges. And I'm like, will he talk to me? Maybe he'll give me 10 minutes. No, I went to Santa Barbara. I sat down with him for hours.
Wow.
And he was fantastic. And just
tell him you've got weed.
No,
sit down with you as long as you want.
Yeah, well, what was really interesting about him that I didn't know is he's a world-class photographer.
Yes.
And he shoots a lot of behind-the-scenes photographs on the sets that he's on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there was some pictures from what he did on Tron, but I would hope like a company like Toshin, who makes these, they have the Star Wars archives coming out, big art books, that somebody would put together a really nice, thick coffee table book of all of his on-set photos over the years.
Well, you know, if he wanted to do it, somebody would publish it.
I think so, and you know, first of all, nicest guy in the world, and what a body of work.
Well,
I mean, he was in the original he was in Dino De Laurentiis' remake of King Kong in 1976
yes, he was.
with Jessica Lange, hubba hubba.
Well, and speaking of the highlights, let's take a look at like why this guy is such a great. First of all, he did finally win his Academy Award for that film Crazy Heart, which was wonderful. He was nominated 7 times, 6 of them were for Best Lead Actor. Once he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Then if you look at the different films he's been involved with, of course, a lot of people, when they think of Jeff, the first film they're going to think of for a lot of people is The Big Lebowski, playing the dude. Then you got True Grit, which was, I actually like True Grit more than the original. I like that True Grit movie more than the original. He was, of course, in really the film a lot of people consider kicking off the MCU, Iron Man. He was the first villain.
Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane, the Warmonger. Hell or High Water just the other year, which was stupid good. Of course, you mentioned Tron. A lot of people forget about Starman.
Another Oscar-nominated performance.
Yes, it was. And
Jenny
then, of
Hayden.
course, Against All Odds, which, of course, gave us the great Phil Collins song.
And an awesome car chase on Sunset Boulevard.
Yes, it did. And a lot of people don't think about this film, but it is one of my favorite Jeff Bridges films. It was called Kiss Me Goodbye. Do you remember Kiss Me Goodbye?
Vaguely.
It was like early 80s.
Yeah.
It was Jeff Bridges, Sally Field, and James Caan.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one where Sally Field, this is a great little movie. I watched this when I was like 10 years old. This is a great little movie where Sally Field was married to the James Caan character, whose name was Jolly. And Jolly was this big, famous Broadway choreographer, but he had died 3 years earlier. It's now 3 years later. Right. She's going to get married now to Jeff Bridges, and they're moving into her old house when Jolly's ghost appears. And only Sally Field can see her ghost, and it causes all these problems. It is a delightful little movie. But I love that one. So a lot of people might wonder why I put Kiss Me Goodbye on there.
He was in a movie with Clint Eastwood. Called Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, which is the first film that Michael Cimino, who later went on to win the Academy Award for The Deer Hunter, directed. It was his first feature, which I always dug that movie.
So, hey, listen, guys, what are some of your favorite Jeff Bridges moments in Jeff Bridges films? Love to hear that. Oh, and lest we forget, he also did the voice. He was the lead voice in The Last Unicorn. Let's not forget about that, ladies and gentlemen. He was the lead voice in The Last Unicorn. The Baker Brothers.
Baker Boys, yeah.
Baker Boys, the fabulous Baker Boys.
So good.
On and on you could go about this guy. Totally well-deserving. And so to the Hollywood Foreign Press and the Golden Globes, well done. That's a good selection.
Or was that Beau Bridges, his brother?
I think that both were in the Big Fabulous Baker Boys.
And Michael Douglas.
And I think was it Michelle Pfeiffer that was it?
Yes, no, you're right. It's both. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Wonder Boys.
Both of the brothers, the Beau
brothers.
brothers.
The Beau brothers. Yes.